Alright, guys. YouTube says I'm live, so I must be live. Internet never lies, right? Welcome to, or welcome back. This is Hanging with Dave, episode, what is this, 23 this week. Just a little live talk show I do, kind of do for the subscribers mainly, give a chance to interact with the subscribers that can make it out on Saturday mornings to hang out with me. I do talk about a little bit of tech news from time to time. That's more or less for whenever they go to video style on the channel. People can actually find me a little bit better. But the main reason is because of the comments and the questions and the answers, and if anybody shows up in chat. Got a couple disclaimers to throw out. I do enjoy me a cold beer every weekend while I do this. And also, I am a truck driver by trade when I'm working, so you may hear a wordy dirt or a cuss word, but I try to keep it to a minimum. This is a live show. I can't edit it out like I do in my videos. So cheers, y'all. I did find a few articles this morning that kind of hit me as interesting, and I thought they'd be worth talking about this morning. AMD Ryzen 3, Zen 2. They're still putting out processors, even though Zen the 4000 series is right around the bend. I guess they're still going to be doing some Zen 2 processors coming up. Thought that was kind of interesting. And also, I've talked about before on the channel the B550 motherboards coming out. They're a little bit more budget friendly, or a little bit cheaper than the X570. Which main thing with them is they're still going to support the PCI Express times 4 instead of the PCI Express times 3. It's going to be the big thing over the B450 motherboards, I believe. Of course, it all depends on what you pay for them and what tier of motherboard you go with. Let's jump into them here, and we'll see what's going on. To start this week's stream out, it's the AMD Ryzen 3 meets Zen 2. The new quad-core CPU would rival the Intel Core i3 Comet Lakes. That's the 10th gen Intel CPUs that's coming out. By reading down through here, they're going to be, right here's the specs on them. You get the Ryzen 3 3100, it's 4-core, 8 threads, so they are going to have the SMT, or the hyper-threading, as Intel likes to call it. It's going to have double the threads for each core. The boost clock's going to be up to 3.9. No information on what the base clock is going to be. L3 cache is 16 megabits on each one of them, and the TDP, or the heat that it's going to produce, is about 65 watts on both of them. They're both 4-core, 8 threads. And they're pretty well going to match up against the i3s that's coming out, the 10320 here, the 10300, and the 10100, which they're all 4-core, 8 threads as well. So even their i3s on the Intel side is going to be coming out with hyper-threading, which is unheard of for Intel. I guess Intel's trying to step their game up now since Ryzen's released. Which I kind of found kind of strange. They got the base clocks listed for the Intel, but not the boost clocks. They have the boost clocks listed for the Ryzen processors, but not the base clocks. The Intel is going to have a little bit less L3 cache, which that makes a little bit of difference in the gaming performance of them. If y'all want to look through these articles I'm talking about, the links will be in the description below. If you want to take some time and read through them and do a little bit more investigating on these things. But I think it's kind of funny that they're coming up with 4-core, 8-thread processors. And there's reasons why I say that. Because of the way the gaming industry is going. Even the new console games. You know, they're coming out with 8 cores and 16 thread processors. So, you know, and I have a feeling, you know, game developers, they usually use whatever the mainstream's got available to them to produce their games with. You know, they're going to take advantage of everything. I think the 4-core, 8-thread processor is on its way out for gaming chips myself. But we'll see. Time will tell if I'm going to be right on that one or not. That's just one man's guesstimation on it. Alright, next we got, what do we got? The next one is from WCFFTech. The first one was from Tom's Hardware. The second one is from WCFFTech. AMD B550 Motherboards is the launch on 16th of June. Cost-effective PCI Express Gen 4 options for Ryzen 3000 processors. Yes, guys, these things will support the first gen and second gen Ryzen processors, you know, the 1000 series and the 2000 series. But if you want to take advantage of that PCI Express times 4, you gotta have a 3000 processor. That wasn't available on the 1000 or the 2000 series processors. Yeah, this is just kind of like I said, you know, I've talked about these before here on the live show, and this is just kind of confirming that they're going to be coming out Q1. You know, and they say there's going to be a A520 motherboard, which, you ask me, they're wasting their time by coming up with them things. But you know, everybody's on their own budget, so. Here's a little bit of a draft, a little bit of graphs and whatnot if you want to go check it out. Like I said, the links is in the description below where you don't have to go look them up yourself. And of course, Ryzen 4000 series processors coming out here in probably a few months ago or so. It's going to be compatible with them. You know, they're made for the 4th gen CPUs. 3rd gen, 4th gen, or what is it? We're on 2nd gen now. It'll be the 3rd gen, which is be the 4000 series processors. Yeah, I know. It confuses me sometimes because you got Ryzen, then you got Ryzen Plus, or Zen and Zen Plus, which is the 1000 series and the 2000 series, which falls under the same category. You know what I mean? I don't know. The way they did that's kind of confusing, but, you know, anyway, that's the B550, which is supposed to be a cheaper or more budget-friendly alternative to the 570 motherboards, because them things is a little bit expensive for no more than what they've got. You know, the biggest thing between them and the previous gen is that PCI Express times 4. So, these are going to be a little bit more budget-friendly for people that's on a budget and still wanting that PCI Express Gen 4 option for the NVMe drives. Them's about the only two things I really have for today, as far as news or upcoming stuff. Like every week, you know, I guess it's going to be time for questions and comments. You know, if you have any questions for me or anything I can help you with or try to help you with, throw them over there in chat now. There's like a 90-second delay. By the time you type something, it takes about 90 seconds for it to get to me. But we'll jump into the comments here that I've got over the past week or so. And there's a couple of these that I've already answered back. It was on Saturday or Sunday when these first 2 comments came in on the channel, and I went ahead and typed back to both these guys there last week. Excuse me. As I was, and like every week, you know, if I butcher your YouTube handle names, I'm sorry. I ain't really good with the English language, let alone these YouTube handles. So. Yeah, there's that too. So if I butcher your name, don't cuss at me or yell at me too loudly. 6 days ago, Hot Driver, He commented on how to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. He said, "Hey Daves," I like how he throws the S on that. He says, "Thank you so much. I followed the steps. Although I have 3600 megahertz RAM, 16 gigabytes, and I don't know what numbers to put in the BIOS for that to work. Could you please help me? Brilliant video." My reply to it was, if the XM profile don't work, when you enable your XM profile, if it ain't working, that you need to if you take the same settings that the XMP set out and throw it into it, type them in manually, sometimes that'll work. If not, it gives you a starting point where you can back off to get it to be stable. It's pretty well how that went. Then he came back. And he says, "Dave's Techway, thank you for your response. I realized yesterday that my motherboard B450 DS3H accepts the max of 2933, so I found the problem. It's a bit frustrating, but oh well. Now I know why I couldn't get my RAM to 3600 megahertz. The B450 DS3H motherboard, it supports up to 2933, but overclocking it should support a lot better than that. I believe, let me look it up here, but I believe the B450H, DS3H, DS3H, I believe that motherboard will support more RAM if it's overclocked. Let me look it up here real quick. Give me a second. Hold on. I'm getting there. I believe it'll take up to 3200 megahertz speed, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it'll handle 36, but I believe it will hold it up to 32. Memory. Here we go. Let me flip you guys back around here. Right here, the motherboard memory standards: DDR4 3600 OC, 3466 OC, 3200 OC, 2933, 2667, 2400, and 2133 megahertz. So that means it'll hold up. It will accept up to 2933 out of the box without overclocking it. But the XMP profile is an overclock standard, so it should handle the 36 OC. Or a 3466 or a 3200. Yeah, he also came back and he says, "Thanks for your response. I realized yesterday my motherboard BS3H were a bit frustrating, but oh well, I know why I couldn't get it to 3600 megahertz. Says, sorry, not my motherboard, my processor was a Ryzen 5 2600. Let's look that one up. I don't know exactly what they recommend for the RAM on that. Let's see. Memory type's 2933. That sounds awful low to me. I still think you should be able to get that thing up to 3600 speeds, or even better than 30, or close to 3600 speeds. I know that's what it supports. It's probably out of the box speeds. It'll support up to 2933 out of the box. But being OC, you should be able to get higher than that 2933 with no problem. If it really concerns you a whole lot, if you're happy with 2933, good for you. You could leave it at 2933. But I believe that thing will handle more than the 2933 speeds if you actually really want to get technical with it. And you may have to mess around with it a little bit. Sergio Mono, 3 hours ago, he said, that hot driver, do you change the numbers from standard timings control like the vid? or just the megahertz? I'm curious. I want to do it. As far as that one goes, I've never messed with the vid settings on it. I'm not really too sure on what them actually do. I always just go with the megahertz and the voltage. You may have to throw some extra voltage to them to get them up to the 3600 megahertz speeds. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for your comments, and thank you for the views. The next one we got here that I done answered, it's Beike Chan. It's the ViewSonic V2759 SMH unboxing and underview. He says, does this port that goes into the stand come off? I put yes it does. I gave him a link to the video that shows where I take it apart in the next video, where I mount it to the monitor stand that I picked up, the dual monitor stand. I told him it happens about 16 minutes into the video. It kind of shows how it takes it apart. But I want to thank you for the comment, and thank you for watching the video. Let's see here. Christian Cabrel. Now these guys I haven't answered yet, so how to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard. Nice video. I paired the i5-9400F with the GTX 1650 Super. Don't know why, but it gives me frap drops on Warzone. I have tried updating drivers and BIOS. I think because I have a single 8 gig RAM slot of 2666. Maybe that could be the RAM. My GPU drops usage and the megahertz stays solid every time and my CPU and GPU. The degrees is 65 to 70 degrees, so it's good. I think the issue is the RAM. My megahertz on the GPU and CPU are constant, but I don't know why my GPU is dropping usage. Maybe the RAM. The best way to tell that while you're gaming, you just go over. I actually got it up here. I actually monitor this while I stream now, since I got both of my 27-inch monitors. I got room to do this. I can actually see it. Well, if I get it stretched out here, there we go. It's called the Task Manager. You go down to your bar at the very bottom. Right click, go up to Task Manager and open it up. This will pop up. Go over to Performance, and you can see what the percentage is on your CPU. It shows your memory usage, your disk usage, your internet issue, how much disk or Ethernet you're using. It also shows your GPU usage, which my GPU is pretty high because I'm using the RX 588 gig right now to run the stream with. That's why it's hitting 90%. But anyways, if it's your memory holding you back, your memory would be tacked out. I believe you said you got, what, 8 gigs? Single stick of 8 gigs. It's best to run dual channel if possible. But you can always open up your Task Manager here and look and watch your memory. You know, you wouldn't have to download any other programs to do this. This comes in Windows. Watch your memory usage, and if it's getting up to where it's using up to 8 gigs, it's possibly it could be holding back your CPU and GPU. You know, rather than that, I really don't know what to tell you. Without knowing what game particularly you're running, what kind of frame rate you're running, or what kind of monitor you're running. If you're playing at 1080p, if you're running, if you're trying to run 1440p on a 1650, it's kind of hard to say, but it could possibly be your RAM. I hope that kind of shows you how to diagnose it at least, and see if it is your RAM holding you back or not. Which I've actually heard stories on that Warzone that you're playing, that it's a very unstable game. It does some funny stuff, by the way I'm understanding it and what I'm watching on it. So, you know, it may be just the games that you're playing that could be doing it as well, depending on, you know, like I know the Warzone, it's the same thing. You know, the Warzone game, it's pretty finicky right now. It ain't very well optimized at all. Uh, and it seems like your temperatures are good, so you know, 65 to 70 C. I wish I could get mine down to that actually. Um, but it may be your RAM. Like I said, you know, I'd open up my task manager and watch that memory and see what it's using. And I don't know a whole lot about that game, so I don't know what they recommend for that. That's why a lot of people nowadays recommend 16 gigs for AAA titles like that Warzone. I believe that's a AAA title because they are using up a lot of the resources, especially RAM. And if it's running at 2930 or if it's running at 2666, that's pretty slow even for the Intel-based systems. So it may be, like I said, you know, it gives you a starting point and it shows you how to figure out if it is your RAM watching you or not, holding you back or not. But thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. Let's see here. We got Imagix Trax. I guess the way you pronounce that. That's the way I'd pronounce that. Gigabyte B550 DS3H motherboard BIOS. Did I brick my motherboard? I updated my BIOS to F50 and it's been giving me problems and such. I thought my system memory was defective because every time I set up my system to run the system memory at 3200 and it would crash my system. I switched my system memory back to the old set and games would keep crashing. I'm unsure whether upgrading my motherboard would solve the problem, but if it does, then I would have a problem upgrading my motherboard. Wouldn't have a problem upgrading my motherboard. I don't want to waste tech, but I also want a system that can run without crashing games and sometimes give me the occasional blue screen more often than usual. So you upgraded to F50 on your BIOS, and then your memory wasn't running at 3200 megahertz. I switched my memory back to my old set, and games would keep crashing. With your old set of memory, there ain't really enough details for me to really help you with that. I don't see where the motherboard would be. It definitely sounds like a RAM problem to me. Even if you switched back to your old set of RAM and you're still trying to overclock it, maybe it's still an unstable overclock. You know, maybe go in and try to overclock the RAM to a little bit less than what it's rated at. That may be a help to you. I don't see where upgrading your motherboard. You know, I mean, I've had that motherboard with 3 different sets of RAM. Some of the RAM that I had, the 16 gig kit of RAM I had to run at stock speeds because I couldn't get it to overclock to anything. I couldn't even get it up to 2933 on it. But that was because of the memory, I believe. You know, there ain't a whole lot. I mean, but that definitely sounds like a RAM issue. Maybe try the other slot, the RAM slots on the motherboard, because that does have 4 RAM slots. You know, maybe you got a bad RAM slot or something that's causing it. I know there's a recommended set of RAM slots that you should use for dual channel, but you can always try the other ones just to see, just to test your RAM slots, make sure you don't have a bad RAM slots on it. And if it started because you updated to F50, I believe there's a newer one on that motherboard, I believe. Let me see here. Oh, whoops, wrong button. It don't matter. Windows 10 64-bit. BIOSes. No, I guess F50 is the highest one. Thought they had one out above that. Either that or instead of going through the expense and the waste of the tech on that, maybe take your BIOS and flash it back one or two BIOSes, or whatever BIOS you had before the crashing problem started happening. Maybe that will fix the problem. Instead of doing F50, take it back to F45 or F46 or whatever the one was before F50. I don't see no sense in switching out the motherboard because of a RAM issue. If you could possibly roll back your, BIOS and be able to still use that motherboard. I don't see much sense in having to waste that tech or going through the expense and the hassle of changing the motherboard, which I got a video on the channel that shows you how to change out your motherboard. And it's almost like a new build to swap out a motherboard. I'd just try to roll back that BIOS a set or two. It may be because of the RAM that you're using too. I don't know what CPU you're using, if it's first 1000 series or a 2000 series or a 3000 series processor, but they are pretty finicky about the RAMs. Which 3rd gen is a little bit more flexible on the RAMs than what Ryzen 1000 series or 2000 series processors is. But yeah, I'd definitely just roll that back to BIOS, roll back one, and go through the same steps through updating your BIOS. Just pick an earlier version of the BIOS. I wouldn't go through the hassle of changing that motherboard if I didn't have to. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that you're having problems with it, but that RAM with Ryzen even today is pretty picky. But thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. Let's see here, we got Megan Theo, 1988. I guess is the way you pronounce it. That's the way I'm going to pronounce it. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B550M DS3H motherboard. He says, thanks for the video. It helped me a lot. Well, you're welcome a lot. I'm glad it helped you out. I'm hoping that RAM's running stable for you, whatever you got to run that. And thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. Appreciate that. We got Shane Fisher. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B550M DS3H motherboard. Best video ever. Explained. Sure was helpful. Well, thank you. I'm glad I could help you out. I'm hoping you got that RAM to run the speeds that you needed to run that to improve your performance with that RAM. Thank you for the watching and thank you for the comment. Let's see here. 4 days ago, Wes Bennett. How to update the ASRock motherboard BIOS. Thanks. This actually helped. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad it helped you out. I'm glad you got it up to snuff. Updating the BIOS is a pretty big thing. A lot of people overlook it. But back in the day when I started into computers, that was one of the main things that tech did to improve the performance of a motherboard, or to improve a computer's performance, is just by updating the BIOS. Which back then it was a little bit more difficult and a little bit harder to do, so a lot of people scared away from it. Nowadays it's fairly easy. But thanks for watching the video and thanks for the comment. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Joselle, 1054, 4 days ago. How to dedicate more RAM to the Ryzen integrated graphics on the Gigabyte B550 DS3H. Can you tell me exactly how much RAM did you have when you did this tutorial, please? Oh, well, let me see here. I will have to look that up for you, which shouldn't be too hard here. Dedicate more RAM. Let's see here. Choose your RAM, update your motherboard, updating 5 things to remember, disable onboard graphics, Building Refractor G, $600 Radeon RX 580. Hold on, guys, I'm finding it here. I'm sure there's a search feature in here that would get me to it right away, but right there it is. And just to show you guys this as well, if you go underneath the video, well, actually I didn't put it down here. Usually it's down in the description for all my links. When did I put that video out? Made me look like a fool online, didn't it? That was at 8 o'clock, Cooler Masters, case review, at 8 o'clock. I believe I was running 8 gigs of RAM at the time. It was 3200 megahertz, I believe. I can't believe I didn't put that down in the description, because usually whenever I do them kind of videos, I put all the ports that's in the system in the description. I believe I was running 8 gigabits of RAM at 3200 megahertz speeds on that one. I believe that's what it was, which I'll type back and let them know, just in case you ain't watching this morning. But thanks for the comment, and maybe I'll look it up and actually find out, but I think that was when I originally built the system when I did that one. I think I was running 8 gigs of RAM, and I was dedicating 2 RAMs to it. That's how it still gave me 6 gigs of system RAM to use. But thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment. It's not Carlotos. Well, okay, that's a nice name. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B550 MDS3H motherboard. Mine doesn't change. Help. I have 3200 megahertz. I did the steps and it didn't change. I'm not really too sure on what you're trying to change. You could, there's been quite a few people that's commented on how to change that on the video. You could try using your minus or your plus. Changing, dedicate more RAM. It says it didn't change. I believe in that video, it's been a while since I've done that video, but I believe I just typed mine in. A lot of times you can use your minus or your plus or your arrow keys and it'll change the variables for you. I'd try that. Like I said in past Hanging with Dave episodes, it's been a while since I've been into that BIOS. I need to get into that BIOS and look at it again just to refamiliarize myself, because I do get a lot of questions about that BIOS. Excuse me, guys. But it does not change. Make sure you're clicking completely into the box as well. You can kind of click on it and it kind of lights up, but you have to, once it lights up, you got to click on that box again to be able to change it. Maybe that's what you're doing wrong with that. I'll get into that BIOS here later on, and maybe today or tomorrow or something. I'll get into that BIOS and see what I'd recommend for you. But thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment, and I will type back to you as soon as I see what you may be doing that it don't change. I can't do that kind of stuff while I'm live streaming. I can't do it live on stream for you. Okay, we got Jess Archery. How to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450. Plain and simple. Thank you so much. Well, you're welcome so much. Thank you for watching, and thanks for the comment. And glad I could help you with getting that BIOS updated. Let's see here. That's how that works 2 days ago. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B550 MDS3H motherboard. For anyone who doesn't have the XMP option in the Gigabyte BIOS, I suggest updating your BIOS, as this is what I did. Well, thank you for putting that in the comments. I'm glad you're in the community and trying to help each other out here. I want to thank you for the watch and thank you for the comment. Cheers to you. Let's see here. Next, we got 2 days ago. Fortune. Budget setup in 2020 and how I improved it. He says, love the vids, bro. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you enjoy my videos. I want to thank you for watching and thanks for the comment. Appreciate that. Republica Espo Kilominti, I guess the way you pronounce that. Gigabyte B550 DS3H motherboard BIOS. Did I brick my motherboard? I have the same board, but I don't even know what the beep BIOS is. I finally have Windows installed, have Windows on it, but now I don't know how to get into the motherboard menu where you can see and maintenance the motherboard. Do you know how? Well, yeah, it's pretty simple actually. If you reset the computer, or if you turn the computer on from an off state, when the splash screen comes up with the Gigabyte logo, like it shows right there in the, it shows right here, whenever that splash screen comes up, you just start tapping the delete button, and that'll get you into your BIOS. That's about the easiest way to do it. There's a way to do it through Windows, which is more complicated. The easiest way is whenever you boot it up for the first time off of the off state, or whenever you restart it, or you can restart Windows and just keep tapping the delete button, and it'll eventually get you into the BIOS. Your finger may get a little tired, your wrist may get a little tired, but it will get you there eventually. But thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment. Demigod, 17 hours ago. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B550M DSH3H motherboard. I'm new to Gigabyte. How the F do I boot into the BIOS? It just boots really freaking quickly. Yeah, if you have the fast boot enabled, these motherboards do boot up fairly quickly. As soon as that splash screen comes up, like this one down here in this photo shows up at Gigabyte, or as soon as you turn on the power button, just keep smashing the delete key, and hopefully you get it. If not, there is a way in Windows to do it, which I'll have to type that one out to you, because if I try to do it now on live stream, it'll cancel my live stream out. I can't show you here on camera, but you go into, I can show you part of it, I guess. Go down here, go into your settings, update security. You go into, I think it's Windows security, no, not Windows security. You go into recovery. You want to go into advanced startup. Advanced startup and restart now. You hit that restart now, and it'll bring you up to another screen. Then you go into load UFI, and they'll take you into the UFI or into the BIOS. I do have to admit, them Gigabyte boards do have a pretty quick boot time if you have the fast boot option enabled one. But thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment. I'll actually type back to you and give you the exact settings or exact steps how to do that through the Windows process when you get into it. let's see here, we got Jibs-a-bit, I guess is the way you pronounce that. I don't know. How to overclock the Ryzen 7 2700 with AMD Ryzen Master software. My peak speed won't go up. Any ideas? Depending on the processor. I don't know what processor you're running or anything like that, but it depends on the processor. Different processors only let you overclock them so far. That may be what's holding you back on that one. That'd be my best guesstimation without actually, having your processor and your motherboard and seeing what Ryzen 7 is actually telling, or not Ryzen 7, but the Ryzen Master software is actually telling you. It may be depending on what your what processor you're running. There are certain processors that won't go up beyond a certain speed even if you try to overclock them. That'd be my best guess on that one. But thank you for watching and thank you for the comment. 09 hours. I can pronounce that name. How to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 DSH3 motherboard. I'm having trouble finding the files in the BIOS. If anyone knows how to find the file, it would be great help. It sounds like you're downloading it onto a zip drive and you're having a hard time finding it on the zip drive. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. I'm having trouble finding the file in the BIOS. My first suggestion would be to reformat your flash drive into FAT32. It is a BIOS. They're more likely to recognize a FAT32 format than the NTFS format. I'd try that first of all. Maybe try a different flash drive. I'm old school. I've always just used FAT32 for this kind of stuff, and I've never had any problem with it. If you have the same motherboard, you'll have to download the BIOS file and extract it to the flash drive for it to recognize it. If you just put the whole thing onto it, then it won't recognize it as the proper file. It will have to be extracted onto the flash drive. But I'll take back to you, and thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment. Let's see here. We got Bidden Zinman 1 hour ago. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450 MDS3H motherboard. I can't find XMP in the Gigabyte B450 DS2H BIOS. Please make a video with that motherboard. I'm using 8 gigs of DDR4 2400 megahertz single kit, but in Windows DRAM shows 1200 megahertz. Please help. Windows DRAM showing 2400 megahertz. Okay. Sounds like you don't have a RAM stick that's being recognized. It's showing 1200 megahertz, which is half of 2400 megahertz. Like mine right here is showing 2133 megahertz inside the task manager again here. It's showing that it's reading 2133 megahertz. S2H, is that even a motherboard? Let's see here, the Gigabyte B450M. What kind of investment am I looking at for this? where I'd even pick one of them up at. Amazon UK Newegg's got them, it looks like. $101 for this motherboard. Wow. It's an international seller. I don't think them S2H motherboards is even available here in America, really, unless I wait 6 to 7 months for them to come in from Israel, I guess. What was your problem? Please make a video on the motherboard. I'm using 8 gigs. I can't find XMP on the Gigabyte. Most Gigabyte motherboards have roughly the same BIOS layout usually. But if it's showing 1200 megahertz RAM and you're supposed to be having 2400, what program are you using to see what speed your RAM's running at? And why I asked that, I don't have it downloaded right now. But if you go into CPU-Z, it only shows 1200 megahertz on each stick, and you times it by 2, so you actually run at 2400 megahertz. As far as putting the money out to get that board and the months it'd take for me to get it from Israel, I don't think it'd really be worth my time and my hassle and my money to get that motherboard in to make a video on that one. I'll take it into consideration and I'll think about it. But, you know, Newegg was showing that it was like $110 or something. And it coming across from Israel, yeah, it'd be kind of iffy if I could actually do a video on that motherboard. See if we can get it on Amazon. DS3H, there's the 2H. $55. It is shipped and sold. That's the A320. I think the B450. He did say that the B450M. I'm sorry, bud, but I can't take on that kind of expense to buy that motherboard. Or who had it? A Newegg had it, but it was over $100. Yeah, you're looking at $100. It's coming from Israel. Actually, it looks awful damn close to the DS3H motherboard. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, most Gigabyte motherboards is pretty well the same. I really can't do the expense to order that motherboard just to make one video to do a video on that motherboard with the RAM. I don't know what to tell you, bud, but thank you for watching and thanks for the comment. And for some reason, that came through twice. That was 1 hour ago. But it both came through. I don't know why, but he must have copy and pasted it or something. But he put it through 2 different times. Let's see if we got any other comments here. YouTube's telling me I got another notification here. Here we go, 6 minutes ago. Ivra Donadu. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard. What we got? About the same board. I got Some RAM that I saw was on the QVL list. Then notice the model has 3 variants and only one of them is in the list. The other 2 aren't, and out of those 2, there's one that has clear differences with the other 2, like the bandwidth. And that's the one I have. I haven't used the board and the RAM yet, as I am awaiting a shipment of the CPU I bought, the Ryzen 5 2600. Let's see if I can use it with XMP or have to manually set it like this. Yeah, I mean, if it ain't on QVL list, I've actually found with Ryzen, especially 1000 and 2000 series Ryzen processors, even if it's on that QVL list, it don't guarantee it. The Gigabyte B450 MDS3H, a 32 gig RAM kit I got, it's on the QVL list. It's Ripjaw's 5, and it's on the QVL list, the exact number, because that's the way I bought it. I went onto that motherboard, went off the QVL list, looked for what I was wanting, and put it in, put the SKU number into the search engine, and it still won't support it at its max rating. Even though it's on the QVL list, it's still finicky. You figure after 3 years of being out, Ryzen would, with BIOS updates and everything, it'd be a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a hit and miss. Good luck on the XMP working on it, and I hope, if the XMP don't work, I hope the manual oversetting like I showed you in the video works for you. But thanks for watching the video, and thanks for the comment. Let's refresh it here again, and we'll see if we got anything else. Alright, guys. We went through the 2 articles that I had, which was the AMD Ryzen 3 Zen 2 new quad-core processors, and the release month, at least, the release month and date on the B450 motherboards, which hopefully is going to bring down the price to get onto the PCI Express Gen 4 options, hopefully, for Ryzen 3000 processors. We went through the comments, and I answered everybody, the best that I could anyways. I hope my answers to your questions does you something, at least get you steered in the right direction. And I've mentioned it before on the live stream, guys, as far as this diagnostics goes, I can steer you in the right direction to hopefully get you going in the right way. But I can't guarantee it's going to work. Without having the system in front of me, I pretty well give you the basics of what I would do to help diagnose the problems that you have. But beyond that, without actually seeing the system and knowing how it's actually reacting to what you're doing and whatnot, and in writing, it's hard to explain some of this stuff. I give my best advice to try to help you guys out as much as possible. I wish I could help more. But it is what it is. I'm limited to what I could do from a distance and from what you guys write. Maybe you're overlooking something a little simple, so I kind of start out with them simple steps to try to get you on the right way. I'll try to give you a basis to get started when it comes to the diagnostics of your system. It's pretty hard for me to diagnose the system and tell you exactly how to get it fixed when I don't have the system in front of me to hook it up and actually see what it's doing. But I'll try. You can't shoot me for trying, I guess, or I guess you can cuss me if you think my answers is too bland. But you know, it is what it is, and I'll try my best at it. Anyways, I went through my articles, like I said. I got my got the comments and the questions. May take me a while to get all you guys typed back to, because there was quite a few this time. As far as the channel growth goes, we're doing pretty good. We got 47 new community, 57 new people in the community in the last 28 days. It's pretty good. We're up to 358 subscribers to the channel. I want to personally welcome y'all to the channel, and apparently you like what I'm doing here. You wouldn't have subscribed, so thank you. Appreciate it. I didn't think 358 people would ever want to watch me, but, you know, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you subscribed. And, you know, I've seen, you know, as I go down through the comments, you know, I've seen what other people's commented back, you know, trying to help each other out and whatnot. I appreciate you guys doing that. You know, that's what I'm looking for. You know, if someone has a problem with the tech or whatever, you know, I'm looking to build this community where everybody's willing to help each other. That's what I'm wanting to do with this channel. You know, I don't care to get up to the 1,000,000 subscribers or anything like that. You know, my big thing is, you know, I enjoy the video making process. I enjoy the video editing process. Man, I'm an idiot for that one. But anyways, I enjoy doing what I do here. You know, I don't make a penny off of what I do here. I'm not big enough channel to make any money off of it. I do it all for free. I give up all my time, you know, to make the videos, to make the thumbnails. You know, and I do it because I enjoy what I'm doing, and I enjoy helping people. You know, like I said earlier, you know, some of my answers may seem off the top of my head. It may seem, you know, well, you know, I'm not that stupid, you know, I know how to do this and I know how to do. A lot of times when you get in a rush or you get anxious, you know, you overlook the little things. And a lot of times that's what the problem is within tech. And without having the system actually in front of me to actually hook up to a monitor and to recreate the problem, to walk through the process of elimination to figure out what the problem is, you know, it's hard for me to do. You know, I give you the best answers that I can on your tech questions and when you're having problems. But anyways, I want to thank you all the new people that's in the community here. A few months back, someone told me I need to come up with a catchy name for the community, just to make it more personalized or whatnot. And I haven't really been able to come up with anything catchy or anything that would come up, you know, that I'd be happy with calling my subscribers by you know, said name. If you have any suggestions or if you think it's a good idea or whatever, throw it in chat if you live. If not, throw it in the comments. You know, I do these every weekend. I try to do them every weekend. And I'll go through them every weekend, so you know I'm going to read what you write. But yeah, I'm trying to come up with a name or a catchphrase or something for the subscribers of the channel to make it a little bit more personalized, make you feel like you're part of a group or part of a community. I've been working on that. If you couldn't tell, if you've been around the channel for a while, you know, you look down through my thumbnails for my videos. I've been trying to improve them. You know, I'm trying to make them stick out a little bit better, try to get them to pop, to get more people into the community. You know, I'm trying to get this thing going. Let me know in the comments or in the, if you're live, in the chat over there, what you think about what I'm doing here on the channel. If not, there's that comment section below if you watch it as a video, wants to go to the video. But I want to thank you all for being part of the community and helping each other out like you do. I hope to see it grow a little. I hope to see it grow to where it needs to be. And speaking of the community and whatnot, this is kind of a little bit off the beat top of it. But just to give you a little bit of what's coming up on the channel. Dun 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 dun. Boom. I ordered myself this graphics card last week. It's the EVGA GeForce RTX 2070 Super Black Gaming. I was actually holding off on ordering this component for my system, which I've been wanting one for quite a while. But I've been holding off with everything that's going in the world and personal reasons, financial especially. But I went ahead and ordered one of these. So that's just something you can expect to see some content coming up on the channel. If you haven't already, there's links in the description below for Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to come over there and follow me. I don't blow up your inbox with them or nothing like that. If I get products in that's coming up on the channel, sometimes I'll put up the link for upcoming videos, stuff like that. I'll shoot out something, like whenever this thing arrives, I'll put a photo out on Instagram and Twitter. I don't kill your inbox with this kind of stuff. If you'd like to come over there and follow me to get a little bit of a better idea of what's going on the channel and what you can expect from the channel. But yeah, once that comes in, that's supposed to be in on Monday, I guess, by what they're telling me. So we'll see. I got a video coming up this week to actually tell you why I've chose this video card. Like I said last week, right now it's hard to get computer components, especially on a budget. Find any good deals, it's kind of hard to find them right now with the way everything's going on. So, I'm kind of digging around and scrounging around for some content for the channel. That was a pretty big investment, cash-wise, to me. But I think it's going to help me out. I want to get into streaming some gameplay and whatnot, and that video card's going to make that possible. So to me, it's kind of an investment than just a want. That's the way I kind of just fight my own head anyways. Don't look like anybody's in chat or nobody's asked anything or said anything in chat. So I think that's going to pretty well wrap it up for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with me on a Saturday morning. Cheers to y'all. If you like PC tech and you're on a budget and you like this kind of content, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. There's a comment section below. I'll go through them every weekend like I did this week on the live show. I answer them the best that I possibly can. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell where you know next time I go live or I put out a video here on YouTube. With all that being said, you all have a good day. And I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream.